Hello guys and welcome back to this channel where we keep you updated on new ways to trade, new methods and new ways to enter into this market and exit this market with profits, not losses. So the other day I talked about the 714 method, but I did not actually break it down for you to understand it much more better. For people who don't know about it that much, so today I'll be talking about it. I'll be trying to break it down for you to understand it. So first of all, I'll explain the method to you, and I'll tell you the session that you can find the method in, and also show you how to trade the method, because introducing you to this method without showing you how to trade it is not a good thing. So let's dive into it. What is the 714 method? Now, the 714 method of trading it deals with a 1 hour trading period. Now, this 1 hour trading period doesn't mean 1 hour time frame. It just means within 1 hour, what happens within that 1 hour. Now, because of time zones and differences in the time zones, I'm not going to specifically give a time that you can trade this, because time must it might be my time might vary from yours, so I'm not going to give the specific time, but I'll tell you and I'll show you a easy way to get it despite the differences in time. So within this 1 hour trading period, whatever happened within this 1 hour, we expect to see the opposite side of it after that 1 hour time period elapses. So that's just the 714 trading method. So this is how it is. So within this 1 hour time period, if we are in a downtrend, our expectations are what will turn into an uptrend after this whole 1 hour time period finishes. Or well, if we are in an uptrend, we bounce into a downtrend by the end of that 1 hour time period. So that's just how it is. Now on the chart, this is our expectation. This is what we expect to see, right? This is what we expect to see. We expect to see a downtrend or an uptrend within this 1 hour time phase. So within this 1 hour time period, if we are in a downtrend, our expectation is that the trend will change into an uptrend after this 1 hour time period elapses. Or if we're in an uptrend, it changes into a downtrend after the period elapses. So that's just a simple way to explain the 714 method. That's just what the 714 method is about. Now, obviously, you can't get this every day, and obviously, it's not something that you can be trading every day. But when it happens, you know that the trade is going to be good. You are assured that yes, this trade that you are entering, you are going to make profit, right? So which session can you trade this? So we can find this in the landing session. So the 714 method is in the landing session, but which phase or which time period, which area of the landing session is it located? So this is why I said I'll simplify it for you. So just go to the last 2 hours of the landing session. This is the last 2 hours of the landing session. Now this is where the 714 method is. The last two sessions of the landing session. So when we do when we break it down into two, this is the first hour, this is the first hour, this is the second hour. So whatever happens in this first hour, we see the opposite in the next hour. So looking at this, it's just trying to tell us that if we are in a downtrend during these last 2 hours of the landing session, if we are in the downtrend around this level, we are expecting to see an uptrend here. If we are in an uptrend around this level, we are expecting to see a downtrend here. So that's just all it is. It's not any big deal. It's just a very simple thing. You can understand it. Now, how do you trade this method? Now, this is where the seriousness comes, because you can't trade this method without understanding it first. Now, to trade this method, the things I want you to consider, right? Now, somebody might give you a different way of trading this method, but the way I trade this method and the way it works for me is I consider these three things. First, I consider the fair value gap, I consider what other blocks, and I consider what support and resistance levels. So if I'm going to enter into this trade, I have to look for all these three. If I see any of these three, I might see only fair value gap or only other block, or I might see only support and resistance, or I can see both. There's no problem. So far as one of these is available at that moment, I'll be entering inside the trade, right? So let's look at this. So we are in a downtrend. The 1 hour time has elapsed. What do? I don't enter into the trade immediately after the 1 hour time elapsed. No. I looked to my left, right, and find what? Either a fair value gap, an order block, or a support. You get that? When I get a support or a resistance level, then I'll now wait for this price to just move into that level, and I'll do what? I'll enter the trade. With that, you have a very good trade and you have a very good execution, right? So let's look at this. If you are going to enter this trade, this is how I enter into the 714. Now you can copy this or you can do it your own way. What best suits you, you can do it that way. So what I'm telling you is, this is the end of the what? The 1 hour time period. Now just pick your long or short two, then make sure that your stop loss is 3 ratio, right? Risk 3 on your distance, your stop loss. Now within this 3, you are not entering the trade here. You will not enter the trade here because this is just to guide you. So you are not entering the trade here. So within this 3, this 3% risk, find a fair value gap within this tree, find an order block within this level, find a resistance or support within this same level. So if you find any of these, then you now enter the trade within these levels, not exactly as or immediately after the 1 hour time elapses. No, find these. So just extend your stop loss to 3%. Then within that 3%, you do what? You find a fair value gap, an order block, or a what? A support or resistance. Now, if you extend it to 3% and still you can't find these three, you can't find these three, but below the 3% that you've extended it to, one of these three is available. Now use that one as your entry. You must also note that this should be on a 5-minute time frame. So the time frame you should use in order to trade this method is what? A 5-minute time frame. So that's just how I use or how I enter into this trade, right? This is just the method I use. When I find one of these or two of these, or even if all are present, those are the levels I enter into the trade. I don't just enter into the trade because the 1 hour time has elapsed. No. Because when you enter into the trade around that level, it makes your stop loss huge. Because if you can't find a support or resistance around this level to put your stop loss, you have to push it way back down. So that's just how I enter into the trade. So let's look at this for instance. Now I'm just going to talk a little and let it play out, right? So these two white lines are your what? Your 714 method. This is the 1 hour period, right? That's the 1 hour period. Now you've waited the whole day for it to reach those two lines. It has reached it. What happens? You wait for that whole 1 hour time period to do what? To elapse. When it elapses, then you find what? Your fair value gap, your support or resistance, or your what? Your order block. When you see those three or those three, then you do what? You enter your trade at that level. So let's look at how you should enter into the trade. So as you can see, that was a nice trade, right? Now let's look at this second example again and see how better or how good or what level you should enter into this trade and how good it will be if you enter into the trade using these three levels: the support and resistance, the fair value gap, or the order block. So let's look at this second example. As we can see, that too was a very nice trade. And you also have to remember, always put your take profit, that's your first take profit, at the what? The high of the trend, and probably your second take profit a little bit much higher. So that's just how it is. The trade that we all just checked out, we can equally say that this is the same things that I used into enter in those trades, right? And it actually worked. So when the thing I'll just say is, when you're going to enter into this type of trades, just try your best and identify this trade. When you identify this trade, then you enter on each. You've gotten an FEG over there. When the trend, or when the candlestick moves into that FEG, you enter into the trade around that level. So if this is the end of what the 1 hour time phase, this is the end. What happens? And your FBG is here. You wait for this to move to that level. Price doesn't just move without a reason. If there's an FEG there, if it's an order block or a support or resistance, price will test it. That's why this is very, very important. Price will not move without testing it. So if these three things are there, you have to enter into the trade considering these three levels. Each of them, you have to check for each of them. Then you enter into the trade with those levels, because if you enter into the trade immediately after the 1 hour time phase elapses, you end up realizing that your stop loss is going to be huge. And your stop loss being huge just means that what you are risking a lot. So you are not supposed to do that. If you enter into the trade around a level that is the FEG or order block or support or resistance, and the trade is not going to go according to your plan, what happens? It makes your stop loss very, very tight and small. So you don't end up losing a lot on the trade. But when you enter immediately after here, assuming there's a support or resistance here, then you have to put your stop loss to here. And just imagine it come to it and later on bounce off it. That means what happens? Your stop loss was already wide and it ended up hitting your stop loss again. So that's just how it is, and that's just the method. So you guys should learn it very well. Probably backtest it a little bit before you start trading with it. Now you might not see this setup every day. It's not every day that you see this, but when you do, check for these, and when they are available, enter the trade around those levels, and we are going to be in a lot of profits, right? So that's just it, and thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.